Thank you for joining us. My name is Sarah Crozier, and I'm the Communications Director here at Main Street Alliance. I appreciate you taking the time to either come on this call or watch the recording. I know it's an incredibly busy news cycle with a lot of deadlines, and so we feel that this particular topic, what's at stake for small businesses if the ACA were to be invalidated, is an incredibly important topic that absolutely deserves the time and attention. And so we appreciate you coming on and listening to our small business members. We're gonna go through the call setting a frame, hearing from our Executive Director of the Main Street Alliance, Amanda Ballantyne, who will also be introducing data from a recent scientific poll that we did with 600 small business owners across the nation. It covered many topics, but in particular, we'll be going over data around healthcare insurance and prescription drug prices that came out of that poll as well. And after that frame, we'll go into 3 small business members who will be sharing their stories. Bob Goodman, the owner of Robert Goodman Jewelers in Indiana, then Leonardo Williams, owner of Zweli's Kitchen in North Carolina, and finishing with Adeline Wright, the owner of Adeline Inc. in Minnesota. And with that, I will pass it off to Amanda Ballantyne to set our frame.
Thanks, Sarah. And thanks for joining us today. We're here to talk about the potential Supreme Court invalidation of the Affordable Care Act as Republicans work to cement a new ultra-conservative majority on the Supreme Court in advance of the upcoming hearing on the ACA this November. Many experts have said that although the court has upheld the ACA several times against Republican-led challenges, virtually the entire law could be at stake in this upcoming Supreme Court hearing. Last week, the New York Times reported that 8 million people have slipped into poverty, and Congress continues to delay urgently needed financial assistance to struggling families and small businesses and state governments straining under the financial losses caused by the pandemic. Despite this set of unprecedented crises, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell seems poised to cement a new court majority that could end health insurance for 20 million people and remove pre-existing conditions protections for more than 135 million people during the middle of a global pandemic. There's currently no plan to provide health insurance coverage to those who will be left without. There's no plan to replace the ACA. This is a stunningly irresponsible set of priorities given the current crisis facing the American people, and will have severe negative impacts on small businesses that are already struggling with coronavirus impacts. Although the ACA didn't solve every problem that small business owners have in terms of accessing affordable health care, its benefits have been substantial for small business owners, and particularly for entrepreneurs, by controlling regular rate increases, creating a marketplace for individuals to find affordable health care coverage, and continuing to cover pre-existing conditions, as well as a host of other critical benefits that are part of the law. In fact, many entrepreneurs say that the ACA is what enabled them to finally start their business. Getting affordable, high-quality healthcare gave many entrepreneurs the safety net that they needed to take the risk to start their business. Without the ACA, many would have been unable to strike out on their own, and our whole economy and our communities would have suffered for that fact. The ACA has enabled entrepreneurs to pursue their dreams and has facilitated innovation and economic growth. In the decades prior to the passage of the ACA, small business owners saw volatile spikes in our health insurance premiums. If just one employee had a pre-existing condition, it could result in double-digit premium increases on an annual basis. It was nearly impossible to afford quality healthcare for ourselves or our employees. And after the passage of the ACA, rates stabilized and premium increases became more reasonable and manageable, at least until the Republican sabotage of the ACA began in 2017 under President Trump's leadership. That attack is culminating in the Supreme Court case this November. 59%, according to our poll, 59% of small business owners say that the Trump administration working to repeal the Affordable Care Act in the Supreme Court without alternative legislation in place raises doubts about President Trump. If the Supreme Court guts the ACA, it will mean that insurance corporations can start rejecting people again or pricing people out of the market because of our health conditions or putting caps on care. It also means that individuals and small businesses who typically can't afford employer-based plans would not have quality coverage options on the individual market. In fact, In our latest poll, we saw that a majority of small businesses, 60%, say they don't provide health insurance to employees prior to the pandemic, meaning that the ACA marketplace is what allows many, many individuals to get coverage because it's too expensive for many small businesses to offer employer-based plans. Over half of small businesses are very concerned about healthcare prices being too high, that's 61%, and 59% say drug corporations are overcharging for prescription drugs. COVID has made clear that there's a very strong link between the strength of our health system and economic strength. In our poll, we found that it's overwhelmingly important to small business owners that COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, once developed, are safe and affordable for everyday working Americans. 87% of small business owners say that. And instead of turning back the clock, the federal government and state lawmakers should be working to strengthen the ACA and move forward a universal healthcare system that protects everyone, whether we run Fortune 500 companies or small businesses. We have more top lines to share from our poll that we can share out later in the question section, but I don't want to take up too much time because I really want you to hear from the business owners on our call today who have really compelling stories to share about how the ACA has impacted their businesses over time and what losing the ACA would mean for them. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. We appreciate you setting that frame. With that, we will hear from Bob Goodman, owner of Robert Goodman Jewelers in Zionsville, Indiana, speaking about what's at stake for those with pre-existing conditions. Go ahead, Bob.
Hello. For the past 20 years, my wife, Rosemary, and I have owned a small jewelry store in Zionsville, Indiana. The two of us are the entire operation. As small business owners, my wife and I don't have the option of employer-provided health insurance. And because both of us have pre-existing conditions, private insurance is out of the question. Since 2011, we have depended upon the ACA to obtain our health insurance. The ACA doesn't allow our pre-existing conditions to disqualify us from coverage. It's the same for the 135 million people who have stories like ours. Without the ACA, the financial condition of our business, not to mention our health, would be jeopardized. The incessant attacks on the ACA since 2017 by the Republicans have limited its effectiveness and destabilized both the health insurance markets. Because of the attacks in Indiana, there are only 2 providers left in the market. The dearth of options has limited our choices, coverage, and raised our pricing. The attacks on the ACA harm business owners and consumers alike. We currently pay $1,877 per month for our health insurance. That amounts to more than 10% of our personal expenditures. It's 3.7% of our gross sales from 2019. These costs limit the money we can put into both our business and the economy. The upcoming Supreme Court case regarding the ACA frightens us. A negative ruling will have awful implications for us. It would strip us of the protections for our pre-existing conditions, and we'd probably lose our coverage. Millions of other small business owners are in the same boat as we. None of us can afford the scenario that would result from a negative Supreme Court ruling. The broader economy can't either. I'm not sure if we lose the ACA, if our business would survive it.
Thank you, Bob. That was really a powerful story. With that, we're going to head to Leonardo Williams, the owner of Zwelly's Kitchen in Durham, North Carolina. Take it away, Leonardo.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me here today. I have prepared a statement for this, and I'm going to speak also from a first-hand experience as I just sat at the presidential debate and listened for myself on what's at stake here. So my wife and I, we've owned our restaurant since 2017. So we're new in this business. We're located here in Durham, North Carolina. And as a small business owner, the ACA was the only way we could really get health insurance for many years. That's personally and for our staff. Since 2017, the ACA has been under assault from the Republican Party. And as a result, my rates went up significantly. The repeal of the individual mandate, the elimination of cost sharing reduction payments, and the expansion of junk and short-term health plans all contributed to the destabilization of the market. My own senator, Tom Tillis, has voted to repeal the ACA over 7 times with no plan in place. There's just a lack of logic there. Another reason rates went up, prescription drug prices. These corporations are already the most profitable corporations in the country. The price of prescription drugs is rising faster than any other medical service that we have. And also, while President Trump has done virtually nothing to stop the drug corporations from increasing their prices, in 2020, Big Pharma has already raised the price of 2,519 drugs. The average hike so far is 6.9%. Now, and also, of course, my senator, Tom Tillis, has taken nearly $500,000 from Big Pharma contributions. $500,000. I now have to rely on a local physician for the most basic care. And we've been sending our staff to CVS to get tested for COVID. This is a time where we need healthcare more than ever, and it's trying to be taken away. The upcoming Supreme Court case is another attack on the ACA, another attack on my ability to get health insurance and provide it for my staff as well. That's an economic benefit. We're also hoping to subsidize their health plans in the marketplace. If that goes away, I've lost my ability to provide health care for my staff or assist with it. And we're just simply too small for the single employer-based plan as a small business here to make any sense, really. The real priority should be support for my small business as we continue to deal with an ongoing health crisis, this global pandemic. My own restaurant lost 81% of our revenue, and literally 51 catering over a matter of 3 days. And that makes things extremely tough for us. It's only through innovation and creativity that we've been able to last this long. And adding another worry about healthcare into this mix during a pandemic is not doing us any justice, nor our employees. So in a year where a pandemic is ravaging not only our community's health, but also our small businesses, this court case, it fills me with worry all over again. It is unconscionable that the Republican Party, the Republican-led Senate, is putting a priority on confirming an anti-ACA judge over actual support for small businesses through COVID relief. I hope that the appeals court will actually respect our democracy and reverse the ruling and protect our health care. And hopefully we can have a plan moving forward. So thank you for this opportunity to share this information, to share our perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leonardo. That was incredibly powerful. We're going to finish with Adeline Wright, founder and owner of Adeline Inc. in Duluth, Minnesota.
Hi. It's so interesting to hear these other small business owners' stories because they really mirror what my experience is as well. I was impacted by COVID-19 personally early on in the pandemic and have, now have lingering health issues from it. And so does one other of my employees. And I'm super concerned that if the decision is implemented to get rid of the ACA, that any of the ongoing health issues that we have remaining from COVID-19 are going to be considered a pre-existing condition. I have been able to barely provide health insurance through for like employer coverage for my employees, and it's very expensive and it doesn't cover very well. I find it incredibly stressful that the coverage is so bad and we end up having to pay a bunch of money out of pocket to go to the doctor, especially as I'm seeing our profits go way down because we're obviously, like, just to reiterate what everybody else here has said, we are in a pandemic, and I find it unconscionable that they would be taking away things that will not just protect the economic health and safety of our nation, but individual business owners who really are the backbone of this nation. And to my understanding, actually employ about 51% of all people in this country. It's not just large corporations that are, employers that are worthwhile to support. So yeah, I'm very concerned that if the ACA is repealed, it would be an attack on my small business. And I would really like to see them be supporting small businesses in a meaningful way through further stimulus to help us just keep our boats afloat, but also by keeping the ACA intact.
You've heard from business owners on this call, and I think what you've heard is very reflective of business owners' experiences with the ACA, that it was a stepping stone, and we actually need to move towards more comprehensive universal healthcare options, and decouple healthcare from employment so that we can ensure that everybody in this country has access to the care that they need. And tough business decisions don't have to kick millions of people off of their healthcare. I think that, the important things to note is that in addition to concerns about the rising cost of healthcare and what the loss of the ACA will mean, many business owners are very concerned that healthcare prices since 2017 are rising, with 61% saying healthcare prices are too high, and with 59% saying drug corporations are overcharging for prescription drugs. 78% of small business owners say that the COVID-19 vaccine is one of the most important things in terms of being able to get their businesses back on track. 2/3, 66% say a COVID vaccine is necessary to bring our economy back to normal. It's overwhelmingly important to small businesses that COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, once developed, are safe and affordable for everyday working Americans. 87% of small business owners say that. And again, 59% say that the Trump administration working to repeal the Affordable Care Act in the Supreme Court without alternative legislation raises doubts about President Trump and his leadership.
Thanks, Amanda. Small businesses, and thank everyone for sharing their stories and their personal experiences. It's incredibly important and to illuminate what's at stake, both for individuals and for the small businesses that run them, or that they run across the country. I appreciate everyone's time and stories.